Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Skyrim AE Dwarven Empress playthrough. You may notice something's a little bit different. I may or may not have added a bunch more mods than I said I was going to, and I found a few interesting things that I figured I'd show you guys. If you want more of a mod detailed list, I can maybe do another video on that, but I don't have all the mods pulled up right now or anything, so it's hard for me to, kind of explain which ones I have. But the main interesting ones is I have a graphics overhaul, a lighting overhaul, weather overhaul, I have like a high elf race overhaul, but more interestingly, I have the ancient roads mod, and there's another mod that goes with ancient roads, and it's supposed to add all these things that you see now. It's supposed to basically show an ancient version of Skyrim, how it truly would be, and that's when I decided to propose this. If you guys want me to, simply let me know down in the comments if you want like a full ambient like a video of Skyrim with all of the ambience, I guess. It's like kind of just walking around Skyrim showing how my game would look, just as like a video, just to have. I can't promise that it would be perfect, but, if you want something interesting like that, like if you want to see just clips and shots of me walking through Skyrim with this mod on, then feel free to type that down in the comments. But as you can see there, you may have noticed in the powers menu that I got a few powers with the high elf. Now, this mod, when I first downloaded it, I thought it was going to be a bit better, but the only two useful things I'm using would be the two that you saw that I had favorited. And you may notice something's a bit different about the College of Winterhold. Hasn't always looked like this, of course. I mean, if you've played Skyrim for many years, you would know that it doesn't look like this. But in case you were wondering, this is just a College of Winterhold or Winterhold overhaul mod. It basically just, takes the College of Winterhold and spices it a little bit. It's added a little bit of spice to it. It basically just doesn't really add to anything that's too game breaking, like anything that has a lot of gameplay adaptations for it, but it does have some pretty unique things, like you can study a certain school of magic and it'll be more effective. You can craft scrolls, and you can reuse burned books, I guess. I don't know why you would do that, but anyways, I went to go talk to, what's his name, the book guy, and then I completely forgot that I still had the warrior stone on, so I then went to go get the mage stone, which I also added powerful standing stones, or unique standing stones mod. There's a standing stones mod on PlayStation that I added. It basically gives me 100 extra magicka and 50% magicka regen, plus magic like spells increase, like skill increases faster. As you can see here, I decided to show it. So yeah, that's something I did. Nothing too special, but at this moment I also realized when I went to do that, I was like, oh crap, I completely forgot. I meant to go and level up my smithing and enchanting, which I went to go do that. I did that. I enchanted all my stuff. As you can see, here's my enchanted gear. I decided to aptly name them according to the character, and then from this moment on, I was basically at max. Like, I legendaried all of my equipment, I leveled it all up and everything. This was the max I was going to have the character be. Nothing game breaking or anything. I just had my character be the way it was, at the max, so I didn't have to necessarily go back and re-enchant anything or go back and smith anything up. I also added an infinite enchantment mod, so I don't know if you'll notice it throughout this video, but my enchantment doesn't wear away for a while. I was just testing to see if it would work for Sunder, because I figured Keening has an infinite enchant, so why wouldn't Sunder have an infinite enchant? It only makes sense for this character, because, you know, infinite enchants and all, so I figured it would make more sense. But besides that, I'm still testing out the gameplay perspective, like how it would really work in gameplay, like how to balance the character out, because as of right now, I'm still trying to level up my character with a few things, like destruction magic, of course, and one-handed, heavy armor, and all that stuff, like all that jazz. I still need to level it up, and my character as of right now isn't necessarily doing a whole lot of outright damage yet. So I'm still trying to add in gameplay as to how I would balance out using destruction magic and then using my combat skills and stuff. It's, you know, it's a bit of a process, but I mean, the character is still in early stages, so I'm waiting to see what it'd be like at max level with, you know, everything fully maxed out. Anyways, besides that, continuing on, what I'm doing today in this video is actually just continuing the Mage's questline, because, you know, I want to get it done as soon as possible so I can get Keening, so then I can move on to the next thing, which I honestly I don't really know what's going to be next. I figured I might just go ahead and add maybe, you know, some of the main story, and then maybe start, you know, doing smaller things, like maybe starting the companions to just kind of level up my one-handed. As of right now, the reason why you see me using a lot more magic is because I am in the Mage's College, and I kind of figured that if I just level up my destruction skill as soon as possible, the better. Oh yeah, something else to note. Another mod that I have is faster leveling, because I cannot be bothered to stand around forever waiting for my skills to increase. So it has been helping. Like, I've leveled up destruction a good few times throughout this dungeon. Like, I went from 40 when I first entered to, I think, ending in like 45, or like, no, I think like 50 or something, or I'm close to 50 by the time I get out of the dungeon, which honestly is saying something, because everyone knows that destruction takes the longest to level up. It's like one of those you know, skills that just takes so long and so many hours to put into just to, you know, level it up, man. Anyways, continuing on from that, I kind of just skip over all of these wizards because, you know, they're just a bunch of wizards, and I've still been trying to kind of level up the skills to where they're effective, because as of right now, it's more effective if I just go and smash them in the head with a mallet versus, you know, using my destruction magic, which this is pretty powerful, but they're going to be even more insanely powerful. Honestly, here's another thing that I wanted to propose. I wasn't for sure if I was going to say it or not, but would you guys prefer me to just kind of go and level up certain skills, like, as their own dedicated video, or what? Like, would you want me to show if I do decide to grind any of the skills or anything? I mean, technically I don't have to, but, you know, just if I ever did decide, like, oh, you know, I figure I'm just gonna go to a bunch of random places and, you know, use my destruction magic, because I figured that'd be the most effective way at leveling up my skill. I would just run around Skyrim finding, like, places where there would be, you know, people to kill, and just kind of, like, use it. Not saying I'm gonna do that, but I just don't know if I should show that type of stuff or whatnot. But the big main thing is actually what next questline you guys would want to see me do. Would you want me to do the companions, possibly kill the Dark Brotherhood or kill the Thieves Guild, you know, or would you rather me just do the main quest line and kind of get to a certain point and then stop and then go do something else? Just, you know, kind of let me know what you guys want me to do in the comments below. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything too special, just add whatever. you can tell me, like, oh, specifically go do this and whatnot. But, just to break away from me ranting on for a few minutes, as you can see here, I made a promise to myself that I would get rid of enchanting and destruction as soon as I was done using them, so I could use those points. And so that way I kind of, broke away from that, and, well, I did. I was able to do it. Sure, I couldn't use any of the points for anything, but I no longer have enchanting or smithing. Which, I didn't need it for anything anyways. I mean, perfectly fine the way I am now, so, I figured whatever. And I was kind of going through my skills, and I was like, I was sitting here, I was like, what do I use my points for? I was really confused. I really didn't know what to do, but anyways, I kind of knew this character was a bit of a nunce. Not nunce, dunce, nunce. Nuisance. Nuisance is the word, not nunce. Nuisance. So I kind of just, didn't want to talk to her and just, killed her easily. Just wasn't having it. Because I really just wanted to continue on with this character. I wanted to get done with the Archmages. Not Archmages College. Why do I keep saying Archmages College? The College of Winterhold as soon as possible. So that way I can go do Keening questline, because I really wanted to use Keening. But anyways, I returned the books to the guy, and then he told me, oh, read this other book. And I was like, oh, whatever, okay, sure, I'll go read another book. And then I then had to go talk to Tolfdir, of course, because everyone knows how that goes. Which, honestly, now that I think about it, why did you even have to... You go all the way out there for a book, but everyone talks about it like they know what's inside of it. Like, they already knew the knowledge of what was inside the book. But it's like it didn't cross their mind to just bring it up. And honestly, I thought I cut this part out where I was reading these books for skills. I honestly really thought I did cut it out, but I guess not. I guess I did not. This is awkward now. I was supposed to cut this part out where I was reading those books because... Okay, there we go. And then I cut. So then, finally, I went over to Tolfdir, and it's like, he suggested I come to see you. And then I was like, oh, there's this book called Night of Tears. And then Tolfdir this whole time was like, oh, wait, you mean that book that's about this thing? Huh, that's pretty weird. That's exactly what we're going through. Now I'm going to talk about something else. It's like, you didn't think to mention that there was this Night of Tears book before? Unless he did mention it, and then I'm going to feel super stupid if he did or not. But, that's besides the point. But yeah, Tolfdir goes on, rambles for 5 or so minutes, and then, Ankano decides to show up, and he goes, there's a Sijic monk here that's looking for you. We're going to go get to the bottom of this. So I was like, okay, whatever. Yet again, I'm standing here, and I'm just, looking through stuff, and I could have swore I cut it out. I could have swore I just edited it. I have dyslexia of the brain. Of the mouth. I have dyslexia of the mouth. It's very cringy. Anyways, Ankano goes, oh yeah, there's this monk guy that comes to talk to you. And I go talk to the monk guy, right? And he freezes time, he's just that OP. But somehow Savos Arin was still talking to me, even if the time was paused. So the Sijic monk just goes, oh, there's this thing that you did that you didn't know was going to happen, but that you knew that was going to happen at the same time, and I'm sorry, but I came to warn you, but at the same time, I haven't warned you. And so basically, what I have you do is do something that you needed to do all along, but you didn't know you needed to do, but you did know you needed to do. You need to go talk to this guy that's a mage that may or may not have destroyed all of Winterhold, and the college tried to cover it up by saying it was from the Red Mountain, but also at the same time, it was the Red Mountain. It was a sea of ghosts, Yeah, it was, people died, but also it was probably the college's fault, but they don't want you to know that. So anyways, go find this thing, and you'll be good, but you'll also not be good, because you'll fail if you do this. It's the whole thing that they're trying to tell you to do is oh yeah, you are supposed to stop this guy. but you have no control over it. But what you're doing is kind of foretelling events that are to happen already, but that you just didn't know, and that you didn't have any control over, but you actually did have control over if you would have done something about it, but you couldn't have done anything about it. It's just like, it's like, are you serious? It's like, are you serious? You're gonna tell me that basically, I could have done something about it and not gone through this whole entire question if I could have just done something beforehand. Like, seriously? I don't get it. Anyways, that just infuriates me beyond belief, because it's like, you know, this whole quest line is just walking around, talking to people, and then going to this place, this ancient ruin that may have something to do with whatever it is, and then you get back, and they're like, okay, now go do this thing. And so now, I've got to go get the Eye of Magnus for something random, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You couldn't have just told me to, like Tolfdir, if he could have just told me something, he would have just been like, oh, you know, go, you know, there's this thing, and I would have just waited around for a Sigic monk to be like, oh, I'm looking for this guy. Why didn't the Sigic monk just pop up right away? Why didn't he just pop up right away? But no, I had to go get books instead. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's not even worth my time. The Dwarven Empress has many more important things to do rather than walk around and collect books all day. Anyways, all this is just for keening anyways. That's the whole purpose of it, just to go get keening. But, you know, I talked to Agra of Dunlane after, you know, the not-so-subtle nuance of the Sigic monk, and you know, he tells me, okay, go get the staff. It's very useful. It's probably very useful. I mean, most likely. So I exit the cave, and then, you know, I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so you gotta go get the staff, but like, why? Why go get the staff? What's the whole point of it? Because, oh, you know, you need to control the Eye of Magnus, but like, Ancano hasn't even touched it yet, so it's, I don't know. I really don't know. And that's another thing about it is, you know, the Staff of Magnus is supposed to be like super powerful to be able to absorb and hold many, like a lot of magic power. But it's like you can't do anything with it besides absorb someone else's magic to your own, which I guess is kind of powerful, but at the same time it's like, it's not worth it really. Although it might be worth it for a few reasons. Might be worth it for this character. I mean, to absorb magic and you know, whatnot. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I probably won't use the Staff of Magnus. Although I would really like to have a character that would be a sword and staff character. You know, not really per se magic in any way, just sword and staff, like using Staff of Magnus or something like that. You know. Although, now that I think about it, because I do want to have an evil character, so the evil character would be, you know, whatnot. As you can see on screen, I can hardly see anything, and at first I was like, wait, what would be causing this? I was like, oh wait, it's my weather mod. It adds really hard fog. But, yeah, I wanted to have an evil character, so after this Dwarven Empress playthrough, I am going to do a lot of that stuff. But then I'm going to have an evil character, and then maybe that'll be it for the end of AE until I think of someone else to play as. Maybe if you guys want to see me play specific builds or characters or whatever. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I'll pick up here when this is where I'll leave off. But I will pick up here in my next episode. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you made it this far. So that way you can stay tuned for another episode of Skyrim AE with the Dwarven Empress. Hope you have a good rest of your day or night. And I'll see you in another one.